All right, we got another 1v1. This time we've got Janet on occasion here with a little grudge match. Dwarfs versus Skaven. Janet, how excited are you to get this this map going?
Incredibly. So yeah, I don't know if you guys remember this map. This was in rotation way back when. And so yeah, we're revisiting it for a grudge match. It's perfect.
Yeah,
absolutely perfect.
What was it? Lost Tomb of Lord Lund?
The Lost Vault of King Lund. Who, if you don't know, he's the ghost boy that you know, Clan Angren can have.
Yep. He's one of their Thanes, correct?
Yeah, I think he's a Thane, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Because he was the king of Clan Angren, I think.
Yes.
So the king of 8 Peaks before it was lost.
And
I think was the thing.
I think you and I were actually talking about this, like the Battle of Dragonfire Pass and everything, but the warriors of Dragonfire Pass are actually comprised of some of the last remnants of Clan Ekrund and a number of other clans, but little lore tidbit.
Yeah. Always fun. But now I just assume that you got those units. So I mean, should we dive straight in? I mean, I've set up my army.
Yeah, I mean, I've set mine up here. We're gonna do a little action. I'll go ahead and press start. This is our first time actually that we were remarking about this, that Janet and I have casted together. Usually, we're in like a 2v2 or something like that, and he's on the opposing team. So this should be a fun little experience, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't done this before, so I'm just wondering how it pans out.
Yeah, well, I think my American wit and just crippling understanding of this game is going to bring it home for me.
Oh, for sure, dude, for sure.
Oh yeah.
I'm not liking the look of all your artillery. I was expecting artillery, but it doesn't mean I like it.
You know, I just don't like to go overboard with artillery in this game because
I was pretty sure I told them to attack. Whoops.
You can really cheese it.
Not a good start, man. Not a good start.
Because you can really cheese with artillery in this game. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oops. Okay. There you go with slaves. Not a problem. Slaves don't matter.
Words to live by. Oh.
All right, let's see what's happening here.
Oh
Oops.
god.
Oof.
Oof, oh.
All right, you guys keep moving. You guys run along. Okay. Good, Queek. Good.
Good, Queek. Yes.
Proud of you, little buddy. Not so proud of the Doom Wheel, though.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my.
You're moving very quickly, I gotta say.
You know, I thought that these guys would be doing a lot more damage to Queek, Ulthar's Raiders, and you know what? I even used like the whole "hey, we're gonna debuff you and shoot you" thing.
That usually works so well.
Yeah, right. The old hidden 1-2 punch.
He has got absolutely messed up just now.
Get those rat ogres, Janet. You're not supposed to charge with your rat ogres.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did I do it wrong again?
You know what? This always happens with us.
Always happens, man. Always happens.
Now I went with something fun with
Sure.
Clan Angren. I went with the lovely ethereal lords because they cause terror, and that's just half the fun of the battle, right?
Oh, for sure. Alright, you guys should have that wrapped up soon, huh? Huh, little rats?
Little ratty poos. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where'd he go?
Oh, wouldn't you like to know?
Come on. Listen, if you're gonna play, you have to play fair. You have to divulge any and all secrets at any given time.
I mean, I think those are the rules. You know, all Total War players, they don't realize that. They usually keep their things, like, their strategies secret. And that's just not sportsmanlike, you know?
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, this is like the polo of RTSs.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Oh, my.
Didn't realize he was caught out. Oh, and he's dead. Oh, well, no more
Yes.
spellcaster.
Take that, Plague Priest.
God damn it.
He's completely shattered, too.
But what are you doing? Come on.
This
come on,
Thane
team.
could just tank your whole
Come on, team. Oh, silly rats. You know what I noticed? Skaven, not very reliable.
No, not at all. I don't know why you think they wouldn't.
Weird, isn't it?
You know, I have a hard time believing it, to be totally honest.
Okay, that's more like it.
So, I mean, obviously the advent of Total War Warhammer 2, we get Skaven, but do you find yourself playing Skaven versus maybe either some of the races from Warhammer 1, or like I guess where's Skaven in your preference of play?
I really like them against Wood Elves.
Interesting.
Like, I really like them against Wood Elves. Because, yeah, I love the swarm mentality. And, like, the meta for Wood Elves has always been, like, a ton of skirmishers.
Right.
But then when you've got an army that you have so many of them that they're not worth the arrows that are being used to kill them, then you have an advantage, you know? Like, there's just no way you can get use out of things like Way Watchers if every single arrow is hitting something that only costs you about, like, 2 gold. It doesn't even matter anymore. And then you get all the summons. So you bring a couple of Plague Priests, and you can just spam so many units. Usually you can get an army that's about, like, I think over the course of a battle, you can get it to about 3,000 units. Which is just ridiculous. And so you can just overwhelm everything doing that. It's really fun.
Do you feel that what's it called? Wood Elves are still, like, top tier, still, like, leading the charge as far as, like, power goes in the game?
I wouldn't say they're necessarily top tier, because I think you can exploit the meta. It's kind of obvious what they're going to bring. It's just a lot of people don't expect a huge amount of, spam a lot of the time. And so, yeah, like, more experienced players tend to overwhelm people. But I think generally, I think you kind of know what you're going to run into nowadays. So I think that makes it a lot easier. It's still not easy, because, like, the game's pretty well balanced, truth be told. So it's never a sure thing.
Just stop kiting me.
I can't help it. Sorry.
sorry. It's in my rat blood.
My bad. Didn't mean it. I gotta say, those dwarf warriors on your right flank, they just have not died throughout the whole game.
I'm really surprised. They're like a pretty good decent health too. 36.
Yeah. You know what? Quick, go deal with them. Thanks. So yeah, things are starting to fall apart a bit for my army, I've got to say.
I don't know. Mine's kind of ragtag right now, but the big thing that's helping me is the fact that King Lun, there he is, King Lun Ironhammer.
You have King Lun?
Yep, ethereal.
Oh, I didn't realize you had the ethereal guys.
Oh, I did.
Didn't even realize.
I figured they'd be a fun choice.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean the fact that you need magic to deal with them, that's helped you, definitely.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
they can just take tons of damage.
I haven't even been that surprised how well they've lasted, honestly, because it's dwarfs, right? You expect them to just stay alive for just an obscene amount of time.
Exactly. Oh god, like right now. That's one thing I like about Belgar too. He's just so tanky.
He's incredibly tanky. You know, I really like him against Lizardmen.
Huh, I never thought to take one.
Because he's just so hard to kill. He just won't die.
Dude, he just takes it. Look at that. He's just like running through your hordes too. Just no respect for human life. By human life, I mean dwarf or Skaven life.
So let's look at the numbers here. I've got 500 guys on the field. You've got 70. This is just classic Skaven.
Well, I'll probably get a little bit of army losses kicking in here pretty soon.
Maybe, but I mean that's the thing. The balance of power still isn't hugely in my favor, just because the dwarf lords are worth so much.
Well,
it's a little bit ridiculous.
We're about to get that happening here because Thronny is going to start crafting. Although he does cause terror, and that seems to be having a really profound effect on your army.
It kind of does, doesn't it? Although I was kind of hoping that the effect of my because I've got the sort of magic missile attacks from the Doom Wheel. I was hoping that would actually register more. It's not really registering much.
Don't the Death Runners cause... Isn't poison considered a form or some form of basic magic attack that does kind of supersede the whole ethereal portion?
I don't think it does. I'd be surprised if it did. I don't think it does.
Oh, damn it. Those miners rude my sneaky charge.
Run, Queek, run.
No, come back. Come on,
come. I've got trophy heads. Why haven't I used that yet? There we go. Use trophy heads.
No!
Attaboy.
Not on King Lund. This is his vault. You can't do that.
And Thronny's having some trouble. Thronny's definitely having some trouble. Oh, you just got like one unit of Longbeards chasing down like just hundreds of clan rats.
I know. It's a...
And they might win. They might win.
And balance power is definitely shifting to your way now. Oh, yes. Look at it. Oh!
Yeah. And there goes one of them. There's one of you little ghosty
and
boys.
There it is too. Like that as soon as one of them went through, I think King Lund has got what's it called? Yeah,
Army lost, right?
he's unbreakable.
All right, let's see if I can get him.
Not a chance, dude. Now,
Let's get some Death Runners over there.
I always
Say
felt
now,
like
how much armor do they have? Yeah, the Ethereal Lords have 0 armor as well, which is interesting. It's
75% physical resist instead.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Now,
I kind of expected them to have both, because, you know, they're dwarves.
man, your quick head,
Firminus Valor, just for, you know, just to show off with.
quick head on, just 461 health. I'm so angry at you.
Oh, yeah. He was lucky to get out of there. Oh,
Yeah.
whoop.
It's funny because I always felt like in Total Warhammer 1, hey, you know, I really want a quick win. I'll play the vampires. Now,
Oh, yeah.
in Total Warhammer 2, I always feel that way with dwarfs now. Like I'm like, oh, okay, they're just a surefire army. They kind of shore up a lot of the mistakes you can make in the game. Like, okay, I didn't micro this unit as well. Well, they've got such awesome leadership and armor that they can take a little bit of a isolated beating compared to other units and other armies. How do you?
I mean, they're a very forgiving faction.
Exactly.
Because they're so robust, like you kind of expect your front line to hold. So it's usually you just identify the most troublesome unit and blow that up with artillery,
Right.
and then you have it in your ride. But I think they're one of the only factions that can get hard countered very, very easily.
True.
So like Dark Elves will just mess them up every time because they have affordable armor piercing. So you just can't compete with that. If your opponent can field, you know, a wide army that is entirely armor piercing, then that's it. That's all you need to do to defeat dwarves. And so dwarves really struggle there because they're just not very maneuverable. They don't have a big range of units. So basically, for armor piercing and anti-infantry, that's all you need to defeat dwarves. You know, or at least 90% of a dwarven army. You know, they might have some like rangers or something that have a bit less armor, you know, that don't really rely on armor, and like, you know, the odd flyer, but that's about it. There's not a lot of diversity, so you always know what you're going to end up fighting. So you could always build pretty reliably to counter dwarves. So they do struggle from that. But then again, they're very robust. So it's kind of interesting. I think high level play, they struggle a lot, but at low level play, they're very reliable.
Absolutely.
Tends to be how it goes. The more you learn about Warhammer, the more you realize that the dwarves are less, you know, reliable than they can be, because people will just bring things that they know can destroy dwarves. And once you've got that, you know, winning formula, it's very hard to shrug that off, I think.
Yeah, and dwarves are kind of subject to, well, I know I'm going to get hard countered if you're choosing maybe, say, Beastmen, because I know I'm going to be dealing with a ton of cav and or chariots. So I feel like you can get a little cheesy with dwarfs in the matter of cheap artillery you can bring. A cannon's 800 gold, so you can take like 3-4 of those for almost someone's.
Even against beastmen, like a lot of the time you don't need the armor piercing, so you can go even cheaper and get a load of bolt throwers just to you know, keep Cygors on their toes, because like Cygors are a must, I think, against the dwarfs. But they're so expensive. It can be really tough otherwise, because you charge in and all of your armor piercing is either Bestigors that you can just whittle down over time,
right,
or it's cavalry that has like 30 armor, I think, Centigors. Like they have nothing. So Slayers can just chop through anything. So it's quite easy to keep your back line sort of safe and just let the front line just wash over you.
What do you think?
So it makes it very difficult, I think, for Beastmen.
On that note, actually, what do you think of the inclusion of like Giant Slayers as far as like helping to counter cavalry back charges and stuff like that in your line?
I absolutely love it, but I think it's a weird one, because I think the only time you really need them is against really, really heavy armor. So we're talking dinosaurs, basically, is where they shine. But then very few Lizardman players are going to rely on bringing a load of dinosaurs to deal with Clan Angren now, or like any dwarfs, because they know that you're going to see that stuff. So why play into their hands? So I think it's pretty likely you're just not going to see Giant Slayers really performing much, because they're just never going to have the right opponent anymore, because people aren't going to bring them for fear of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's weird because it's like Giant Slayers are really cool. They're super thematic. They cost I think they're 1,100 versus the 900 of a base Slayer. And I feel though that like that 200 gold, unless like you said, oh, I'm up against Lizardmen, I'm probably going to be dealing with the Carnosaur charges and such like that. I feel like you're just fine with Slayers. Slayers did the job well for, a game and a half. With the inclusion of Giant Slayers, yeah, sure, it just is really good against maybe dragon spam from High Elves or...
Actually, I don't think you even need them against dragons. Because the thing is with the Giant Slayers, they actually do less damage.
Oh, really?
Their weapon strength is lower. That's the case with almost every like great weapon variant in the game. Any like armor piercing variant does less damage overall, but so much of it is unavoidable because it's armor piercing. So it does more damage to really armored things because less of it is negated. But against things with 0 armor, it does less damage than a non-AP counterpart.
Interesting.
So so the Giant Slayers, they like once you get to about like 100 armor and lower, they perform about as well as Slayers around like the 100 armor mark. But anything around like 60 and downwards, you're just wasting money massively. Because I mean, even for it to be even between Slayers and Giant Slayers around 100 armor, like, you know, how quick it is for them to take a target down, that's not worth the extra like 300 investment for the Giant Slayers. You know, so it's only when you're on really high levels of armor that it's useful.
Yeah, and I was actually wrong. It was like 350 extra. So it's 1250 to 900. And it seems that, so the Dwarf Giant Slayers get significantly more melee attack. They get 12 more melee attack because, of course, they're using two-handed weapons, so they're a little bit slower. But, like, to your point, they have 10 weapon damage raw, 33 AP damage, versus the Slayer, who gets 32 weapon damage and 16 AP. So I see what you're saying there is like, yeah, this might be really good for a very heavily armored target, but unless this is the most heavily armored of heavily armored targets, like you said, it's just not going to get the value for that 350 gold.
Exactly. Better for normal Slayers. As long as it's large targets, I mean, that's the thing. But I mean, you're not going to bring Slayers to kill infantry, right? But the anti-large bonus, that does get added to melee attack as well as the weapon damage. So basically that extra melee attack that the Giant Slayers get, it almost doesn't matter because at that point they're hitting every time anyway because they're anti-large bonus. So again, they're not really hitting any more than the normal Slayers unless you're fighting like, I don't know, a lord like Tyrion or something on a horse that has like crazy high melee defense.
Now,
so
what about the fact that
it's hard to warrant the cost, I think.
That Slayers versus Giant Slayers have, so a Slayer's bonus versus large is 24, a Giant Slayer's is 30.
Which is pretty huge. But I mean, at that point, like when you look at most big targets, unless it's like a lord, it makes very little difference at that point. You're still going to be hitting every time because it's still a huge bonus. So you're still going to be hitting most of the time. Because if you look at things like, I don't know, the Luminarch, the Steam Tank, right? Large things like that, they've got like 10 melee defense. It's pathetic, right? That's not where their strength is. Even if you look at like Carnosaurs or something, I think they've only got about like 25 or 30 melee defense. It's really low. Like all those big targets have really low melee defense, just so like crap infantry can eventually take them down. It's so they're not invincible against like crappier things. They rely on the armor to keep them going, not their melee defense.
Right.
So yeah, so at that point, again, like it's a huge difference, but it's a huge difference that will only affect like the fewest of matchups. So it's really hard to warrant the cost. You've really got to play into their hands and bring stuff that Giant Slayer's designed to kill for Giant Slayers to be worthwhile. And, you know, a wise opponent just won't bring that stuff because it's just not worth it, you know?
And
they can't demolish like an Ancient Stegodon in seconds. It is crazy how quickly they can take down like just massive armored things. It is terrifying, which is why you just don't bring that stuff against the Dwarfs anymore. So it's tough. It's a really tough one. I mean, the thing is though, you get that sort of counterpoint where it's like, well, if no one's bringing those units because no one is bringing, you know, because they're scared of Giant Slayers, but then everyone knows that they're not going to be bringing those units, so they're not going to bring Giant Slayers, then suddenly bring the big dinosaurs is actually worthwhile again because they won't have Giant Slayers. Right. So it's just going to go back and forth forever.
Yeah, thus is the way of things as patches come out and come and go.
Oh, exactly. But like, I think they're in a weird place. Like they're very specific. Like their purpose is very specific. They're not just a better version of Slayers, which I really like. I think that's great. It's more like diverse, right? It gives you more options. It's not just, oh, this one is a better one. I'll bring the better one because I can afford it. In certain circumstances, it just won't be worth it. You know, it'll actually perform worse than the cheaper alternative.
Now the real question is going to be is what Demon Slayers are going to be like when or if they add them as either a hero or a lord, because that's going to be just amazing. Oh god,
I'd love to see those. I mean, it'd just be like a slightly worse Ungrim just running around supporting your front line.
A generic Ungrim. Good. Generic Ungrim is actually what I think of it
exactly. And yeah, I'd love to see that. I really hope they do put that in because I think that's a great one. Because just like having because they'd have like a much better stat line generally because they'd be a hero. So just having something like that can anchor a force really well,
right.
I think would be great. So, you know, just on one flank receiving cavalry charges, you've got the, you know, inherent melee defense and like charge defense and stuff of your dwarven front line. You know, the cavalry charge in, and then there's, you know, demon slayers in there just cleaving them apart before they can escape. I'd love to see that. I'd definitely love to see that.
Really kind of makes you wonder what's going to be in Total War Warhammer 3.
Oh man, can't wait. Could be good.
Well, Janet, thanks for joining us on this little adventure here. And if you guys haven't already, please head on over to Janet on Occasion's channel. He covers a considerable amount of lore battles, lore campaign playthroughs, where he talks about lore while playing the campaign, in addition to just kind of your typical quick battles, I guess you could say, right?
Yeah. With some cinematics.
Oh yeah, he's quite good at using some cinematic action there. You use what is it, Gem, isn't it, or what's it called?
Yeah, Gem effects. But it's mostly there. I can't speak anymore. It's mostly in the editing. Though,
I have that effect on people.
Yeah, got me speechless. But yeah, I splice some stuff together, so it's not just me zooming in occasionally. It's all cut out of different bits of footage, so it doesn't distract too much, but it looks nice.
Which is of course me. I just like to zoom in a lot. But
oh yeah.
You'll see a link to his.
Don't worry, that's great too.
No, that's great, Ryan. But I'll put a link to his channel here in the comments. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, check out Janet's channel, and all that jazz. But thanks for watching. Have a good one, and take care.